It's official. Style Guys is trending for the holiday season. Located 1252 Burnham Ave in Calumet City. Being black owned and operated with new items weekly, in store, and even online. And with over 50,000 followers online, you can't miss out. Sales going on till 2022. Like jogging suits, hoodies, t-shirts, Jordan Craig, smoke rise, crisp, sweaters, and so much more. So beat the lines and order online from Style Guys, 1252 Burnham Ave in Calumet City. Contact them today at 708-801-9481. Again, 708-801-9481. Or check them out from Tuesday to Saturday from noon to 7 p.m. or Sundays from noon to 5 p.m. Style Guys, 1252 Burnham Ave in Calumet City. Life, fashion, style. Follow some of the newest styles by Style Guys in Calumet City. Lock in The Style Guys on IG or look them up, thestyleguys.com. Gone wild!
Feeling myself, but I stay in my lane. I know you thinking you nice, but you sounding the same. He need to switch up his flow, but I know that he ain't. Shit, maybe he want to and probably can't. He talk a lot, but ain't saying a word. He's 16, sounding like he be lacing his herb. Reggie Rock told me time to just focus and spit. Quit worrying about the niggas abandoning shit. I dropped broken and they told me quit biting your tongue. The way you writing sounded like you forgot where you from. Say you from the hood, but you sound like a minister now. Yeah, I could take it there, but shit, I just like how this sound. I should address some of this drama, but letting it go. Shit, I can't keep playing with you niggas, I'm getting too old. The last words Bone told me I never forget. Quit playing with this music and do it to death. Shit, I came back.
You are listening to the End of the Bench podcast on Built for This Network, hosted by my man, HRap B.
What it is, what it was, and what it shall be. It's my man. I am HRap B, and he is
Wise Guy BJ. How you feeling out there?
You ain't wise, Jack. But anyway. This is HRap B, a conversation between two adults, two men, and we are going to talk about a few things every other week. As y'all know, this is my son, BJ, and I am B. And we talk about things but before we do anything, we give acknowledgement to this is Built for This Network. You can catch us on Spreaker.com, and you can download the podcast on iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, Deezer, or wherever you download your favorite podcast. Thank you for tuning in. If you're on the Facebook side, I need you to hit that heart. Please, thank you. And then if you're on the YouTube side, do the same. Thumbs up. Subscribe. Tell a friend to tune in. And as we do every week, we give acknowledgement. Well, I give acknowledgement to our ancestors, to people who put us in a position to win every day. They are with us at all times. They are on top of things at all times, and we owe them everything. That is everybody connected to the Pollard, Harper, Whitmore, Turner, Battle, Cotton, Bailey, Shaw, Walker, Duncan, Thompson, Chris, Lansdowne, Liggins, Brandy, Brandon, Trotter, Fitch, Lott, Johnson, Wilson, and we are the Williams guys. We're not boys. We're in the building. What's good, man?
Nothing, man. I want to send some prayers out to the families in Texas for that massacre.
Boy, you were raised right. That boy. Who was your dad?
Man, that was sick, man. That's
insane.
That's insane, man. That was just that was man. Never seen nothing like that.
I got my man Justin and my main man Biggs in the building. I keep forgetting to call Biggs back. He gonna bust me in the head. It's been my friend for more than 40 years, and I ain't called him back. My bad, Biggs.
We gonna talk about that off the air, though, man. I got a conspiracy about that. Me and you got to talk about that one, man.
Indeed. We got Keisha in the building. We got Charlotte in the building. My main man Joe from Houston, but he in Chicago. He back at home.
Also, shout out to send prayers out to those people in New York too.
Yeah,
That
Buffalo.
was crazy too. Buffalo,
That's
New York.
bananas, man. I mean, we got Tiki in the building. Charlotte. I think we saw Jabari Littleton, and I said Justin already. Yeah, man, it's crazy. What's truly crazy about this entire situation? You grew up in an apartment up under me, right?
Right.
You grew up in one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in America. We never even thought about these kinds of things.
No,
Me, Big Illinois, your Uncle Sean were literally on the basketball court one day like this, and the jackass shot the ball out the air. And you know what we did? Damn, I fuck shoot too much. Walked away like shit. It was like it was normal, and we probably need therapy to this day for the shit. But
it's a lot of things we need therapy for because
yeah, living on Cedric, you need some therapy everywhere.
It's a lot of things that I just walk like winos like.
Man, bro. That Cedric shit is insane.
Man, yeah, that was crazy.
That was madness. I mean,
I seen some of the dopest cars I've ever seen in my life, and seen some of
the dopest fiends you ever seen.
Right.
Yeah. But yeah, man, this gun violence thing is getting out of hand. I was just watching this podcast on BS3, salute to BS3 Network, called Life Happens, and they talked about it briefly. And this is why I'll be saying on my show on Tuesday, we have to get involved. And the lady who hosted, she was like, but the thing is, man, it seems like rhetoric, gibberish. Hey, yeah, just get involved. But it isn't, because when you call your state representative, when you call your United States senator, those calls are documented. And if you got 1 million people saying do something, then they forced to do something. But if you just got 1 million people looking at each other on podcasts, 1 million people looking at each other in their homes, 1 million people talking to their significant others, nothing happens. And then we get another group of young people get injured permanently, and then we done. You know what I mean?
It's definitely the point we brought up 2 weeks ago. It's the exact same point, man. Don't complain.
Thank you, Alfred.
Don't complain about it. Do something about it.
You got to do something. One of your homies, Sam Mansour.
Mm-hmm.
It's good, Sam.
That's my
man. Good to see you. Thank you for the support. Hit that like button. Hit that thumbs up, man. Okay, today, man, on a different page, it's not equally heavy because nothing is heavy as losing a child in a school setting. But we're gonna talk about something that I kind of touched on it lightly Tuesday. We're gonna talk about this code switching.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, do you know what code switching is?
No, I would rather you give me a definition, because I can tell you what I think it is, but I prefer the definition.
Code switching. I got Alfred looking for another job. Nah, man, Alfred, career employee, man. I ain't Bruce Wayne, but I'm B.
I'm saying you can't.
Never quitting. Alfred been around too long. We got the captain, the forecast in the building. We got my man Ben. It's good to see you. Code switching. Code switching is when you adapt to an environment. You might put your professional voice on when me and you. You've never seen me do it though. But me and you used to chill at the crib all the time. Let's say the house phone rings, and it's a salesman or a professional or a job, and I stop talking like I'm talking now, and I go, "Hey, I'm gonna help you. This is Brian Williams." That's code switching. You adapt to your environment and you accept their vernacular. You change the way the pitch in your voice. You change the way you enunciate. You stop being BJ and you start being Brian Jr.
Right.
So we got that out the way. What do you think about code switching? Since that's the second one, what do you think about it? Since now you know. And if anybody want to participate in the chat room, please post it on the screen. We'll discuss it. What do you think about code switching?
I think it's a great thing. I think it's very useful, and I think it's a tool that a lot of people should use. I personally don't code switch. I've always carried myself in a professional manner, and I've always just been BJ, like no matter what it was, like job interviews. I think I've never went on a job interview and didn't get the job, or I've never been in a setting and people didn't go, "Hey, something about you, boy," but I like you. So I never had the code switch on the phone. I can hang with the best of them, and I've never, like, if people would say put on your white voice, like, no, I've never done that.
Right.
I honestly, you know what? You're kind of the reason that I don't do that. I remember a long time ago, I think it was something wrong with my phone, and you was like, and I asked you to help me, like, call the people. He was like, and we was living on Maypole, and I was like, man, I need your help. And he was like, you do it. You tell them. I don't know your exact words, but I don't work for AT&T. What I'm gonna do? You tell them what's wrong with your phone, and I got on. I got on the phone. You was like, you looked at me crazy. You wait till I got off the phone. You was like, man, you ain't got to do all that. Just talk right. And from there on out, and from there on out, I've never done it. Like, never.
Well, you said at the beginning, you said you thought it was beneficial. I don't think it's beneficial at all. What it is fishing for acceptance. See, the thing is, man, when as we navigate this universe, or even just let's go with the country, as we navigate this country, you got people from all over the world coming here. And when you get people from Asia, they don't change who they are. They don't stop. You know, I was going to make an Asian voice, and that'd have been so fucking disrespectful. But, you know, they don't change who they are. They don't adapt. Some of them do. I know of a person who's from an island, and they did away with their accent. And I was like, really? It's who you are. But at the end of the day, here's the thing, bruh. I think it's necessary, depending on the situation. However, at some point, you're real. You will always present itself. The real will always present itself. And I need some glasses. I agree with that. I agree with that. That is Jabari Littleton. I don't think it's necessary, man. But look. Why is it that when we speak, people criticize? You know, people in our community, they criticize our enunciation. People in our community criticize the way we speak. That's a double negative. You can't say ain't got no. I just did. Thing is, man, that's our dialect. And I'm not asking anyone to show up. You know what I'm saying, God? Nah. I'm not asking you to do that. But if you ever notice, when you see things, when you see art imitate life on television and in movies, when you interact with people from other cultures, they adapt our slang, like something silly that we're not even proud of, like baby mama. You know, every time you turn around, people from other cultures are adapting our dialect, and we're trying to get rid of our dialect. It's what identifies us in popular in the world. So why would you want to do away with it? When you're looking for acceptance, you will change who you are to fit in. Don't do that. Just be you. And look, let me see. Like people say, well, it's in a professional environment, so you must speak in a professional. Look, if you walk into a bank to get a loan and you say, I ain't got this and I ain't got that, but this is what I do have, you know what I'm saying? And you document everything properly and show that what you're doing is going to be profitable, they may say, well, we ain't got no problem lending you this money. So,
I mean, I get exactly what you're saying. I totally agree. I kind of changed my answer because it's like, you're right, because I work with Arabs. I went to school with Latinos. I ain't gonna say I got a lot of white friends. I probably got one, but no one changes anything. We're the only people that goes, oh, we got to put on the suit tie and beats. Nah, everybody else they self like, and if you don't like it, hey, it is what it is.
It is what it is. And you know, the thing is, man, look, this is what you have to do. Take pride in who you are, right? Mm-hmm. And once you take pride in who you are, you will realize that people will adapt to you. Because I remember when I was younger, all of a sudden, guys started walking like Michael Jordan. And Kobe Bryant, he came into the league and he started talking like Michael Jordan because he adapted to what he thought was cool. When, like I said, my man Biggs in the chat room, around 82, 83, we started wearing fat laces. We started buying raccoon hats. Now, before that, raccoon hats was for Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton. But we start wearing raccoon hats. You know what I'm saying? We start wearing gazelles and things of that nature. We adapted to hip hop. The world adapted to us. Right. As you stated, we are the people of this community. We are the only people in this in this society called the United States of America that adapts to everybody else. We are chasing the dog. We're chasing the dog's tail, and we're actually the dog. So we stop and we get knocked down, and we realize, oh, you trying to be like me,
right?
You know, because now all of a sudden, you know, I come from the era of, you know, you wore slacks every day. You know, you heard your grandmother cuss me out, you know, say I was stupid for sitting on the curb. My mother would dress me in the little Oxford shirts, khaki pants, and, you know, they used to wear these penny loafers. You had a penny in them, all that. I leave out the crib looking like Carlton from the Fresh Prince. And I would walk out to Black Hawk, and I would sit on the curb, and I would literally disrobe on the curb and put on something like this and go to Western House. I'm thinking I'm getting away with it the whole time. She looking out the window like, look at this dummy. But I couldn't do it. I'm like, Mom, I'm not finna look like Richard Cunningham. You know, but I couldn't tell her that. You know, she handing out the open hand slaps in the mouth. I ain't gonna do that. But I'm like, hey, well, if you don't see, I walked out of here the way you want me to walk out of here. And when I came back, yeah, Bill Cosby sweaters. Exactly. I was doing all that. We got Teddy. Happy birthday to my sister Teddy. She's happy birthday, TT. So that's why I'm like, nah, man, I'm not doing that. You know, I couldn't tell my mother that because, for one, she spent this money on these funny looking clothes. I got Rosalind in the building. She spent money on these clothes, and I'm like, look, man, I'm not wearing that. I'm like, I'm not doing that. But again, I had to conform because these are the rules of Dolores Land. Yeah. Once I went into Broadland, you know, and it was what it was. You know, you just deal with it. You know, and I do believe as long as we attempt to adapt to somebody else, we will continue to be taken advantage of. You were about to say something. Let me hear it.
I mean, I just totally agree. You definitely just gave me a different outlook on that because, yeah, I mean, I agree with everything. You're absolutely right. Like, it's kind of like, it's like being a pretender. When you go into somebody else's neighborhood and you want to be somebody else, they'll never look at you the same way. They're going to look at you like, oh, man, whatever. But when you come in there and you be yourself, you get all the respect that you want and need.
Yeah. Because, see, man, again, when you hear Polish people, remember the cats that used to come through and fix the air conditioner. When air conditioner, those dudes weren't speaking in our English, but they were getting that. Hey, watch this. They were getting that guap though.
Yeah.
You know, and like old boy, you was telling me about in the waiting room. He on national TV talking about I had to hit him with that understand me. Not only people in Chicago know what that understand me mean. But he did it and he getting paid for it. Man, I'm not telling people. See, I'm not telling anybody to dumb themselves down either. You know, if you speak in traditional American vernacular, knock yourself out. And I'm not telling you to keep it street at all time because you know it's a time and place for everything, right? Mm-hmm. But you've seen it. You've come to my job. You know, I had the suit and tie. I had the suit and tie wrap, just cleaning the bar soap, and I was the dirtiest thing in sight. I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. I'm good at this. And when you're good at something, man, people adapt to you. When you make yourself irreplaceable, people will adapt to you. Like, what you gonna do? Get rid of me? Right. You've seen it. You've seen me at work. Like, hey, BJ, we going now. You was like, we got off at 5. I was like, I'm the best. We get off now. Right? We go home now. And I went to work the next day. Look like, hey man, you left early. Yeah, I did. You go do whatever, you know. But when you good at what you do, man, and I'm not telling anybody to be this rebel. Oh man, I'm HRap, the podcast host, and I do my no. I'm not saying that. But guess what? Nobody has ever met anybody but Brian, man. Right. If you don't like Brian, STBY.
And that's kind of how I feel. Like that's why I said I've never done it because it was like you would still that to me. Like, if you can't deal with this, then oh well. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm the man. It's like Jew say, I ain't what y'all need. I'm not what a chick. What he say? I don't need a chick. I'm what a chick want. I'm what y'all want. You need me.
Man. Hey man, you winning, man. I mean, and look, man. Again, man, don't get me wrong. I'm not telling you people to go out here and sound like a rapper or sound like you Sledgehammer Sammy from the block. No, but
you
speak.
And let people respect you for who you are.
It's only one you. They don't make two. They don't make two Brians. It's too hard. Be you.
Be yourself.
Yeah, man. Be you. Don't be a doctor or a lawyer. Be you. And the thing is, man, and then, the funny thing is, when you say, again, we always talk about, we make references to movies and television and things of that nature. Remember that movie me and you used to laugh at, My Cousin Vinny?
Mm-hmm.
Man, and that's saying youths. But if you get your point across, you're going to get your point across.
Oh, my God.
And that's saying you. And I'm not telling people to do that, man, because, again, I remember I used to hang out with somebody, I ain't going to say her name, but she became a realtor. She used to correct people. People say, "You're a realtor, huh?" I'm a realtor. I'm educated, And then she literally said, "You ain't gonna get me around white folks saying that." And then one day I was somewhere at a bar or something. I heard these two white girls say, realtor. I was like, realtor. I was like,
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Yeah, the people you're trying to impress, there you go.
They dumber than you. All the time. And I used to get teased all the time by my mom about making me read the dictionary and encyclopedia. But when I started rhyming, I made it a point up, made the people around me pick the bars, and they had to adapt to me. Oh boy, your boy needs glasses. Yes, who is that Facebook person? Make yourself available. Yeah, man, look. One of the greatest rappers in the history of the world, KRS-One. He is the godfather of hip hop right now. He the man. Yeah. And he enunciates his ass off. That's one of the things that attracts you to KRS-One, knowledge reigns supreme over nearly everyone. That's what his name means. And he enunciates and he hits you. And like my man said, he reading the encyclopedia, he reading the dictionary. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but he's also being himself, and he's making people adapt to him. And in this code switch, I'm finna sound white. Or then you get people, you can't sound white, you just sound intelligent. Yeah, it is a way to sound white. Sound black. Yeah. And it ain't nothing wrong with it.
Jive.
Sadate.
I speak jive.
I speak jive, yeah. Straight up home. Yeah, but that leads us to the next question. When it comes to this code switching thing, you've seen it. Mm-hmm. You participated in it. How'd you learn it?
How did I learn it? I don't know. I mean, I've always seen it because I would say 75% of the people that I grew up with worked in corporate America. So I used to see it when I used to come visit y'all at y'all job. So you got Butch, Sean, you, my mama, Skeety, Chris. I got my whole family in this one building. I'm thinking this a family reunion. Y'all really at work.
Yeah.
Then my grandmama worked in corporate America. She worked for child support, right?
Yeah.
So I used to go up there and see her do it. Well, no, she didn't do it. No.
I was about to say, who see her do what?
She didn't do it. No, she
wasn't doing that.
She wasn't doing that. You know what? I'm not even gonna put that on my girl.
Yeah.
No, she didn't do it.
Pumpy
you see the people around her do it. So I was like, maybe 10, 11, going to these places and seeing people. And then they say, "Hey, what's up, little brother?"
Yeah.
So I'm like, I guess that's how you supposed to. I guess how this is supposed to be taken care of.
I'm out to sock in the after I say this. Your mama code switch
all the time.
All the time. I used to laugh. I used to like, who the hell is that?
All the time.
Oh, I mean, like from minute to minute.
You gotta get Bria to talk about that.
She ain't gonna do that.
You gotta get Bria to talk about that. That's funny. You gotta get Bria to talk about Bria about that.
We tease Bria all the time, and we talk about how she a hothead. I wonder where she get that from. No comment. We ain't gonna go there. But you know what? Bria is Bria every day, all day.
That's a person that never code switch.
She does not code switch.
You can't pay Bria to code switch to save your life.
Yeah, Bria is Bria. And that's the thing, man. I've seen it my entire life. I've heard it from some of my aunts. I've never heard it from any of my uncles, but I've heard it from cousins. I've seen it, it's just the beauty in like going to a it wasn't predominantly black. It was 100% black. Elementary school and high school was 100%. We had one Latino. We had one white girl in my high school. Now get this. It was 555 freshmen that walked in the door with me. She's one of the people. 549 of them were black, and there was no other white people in that school outside a couple. Then there were very few white teachers, so there was really no room to code switch. But I seen it there. My principal at the time, his name was Mr. Spellman. Mr. Spellman, nobody knew he was black until one day he yelled at us. And he was like, "You're not gonna make us look bad." We were at the auditorium, and everybody in my class, my 1984 to 88 class, was like, "Us? What do you mean?" And Mr. Spellman got down. He was like, "I'm black. What do you mean?" We like, "Hey man, we know. You look like a white dude."
My man.
But when he would walk around, people voice go up an octave and like, "How you doing, Mr. Spellman? How's it going, sir?" Like, hey, you a gangbanger. I got my man degraded the building. But yeah, man, you learn it through your parents, your aunts, your uncles, friends, cousins. I'm gonna call them out. Big P, Pat code switches all the time. Pat told me.
I've never seen Pat do it. You know who didn't do it?
Who?
Vince. Vince never did it.
No, Vito ain't gonna do that.
Vince never did it. I don't think I've ever heard Ant do it.
Ant ain't gonna do it. No, Ant ain't gonna do it. No.
Yeah, well, yeah. I can really call that word. Yeah, Ant didn't do it.
Pat told me how to walk one day. Hey, you got a little too much bop in your walk. I'm like, I got a bad knee, Jack. This ain't no pimp. This is injury. But yeah, he told me that you gotta change the way you walk. I was like, what?
You gotta change the way you walk.
Hey man, but that's what. Look, man. I don't call it white supremacy. I call it white nationalism because that's what it is. There's nothing supreme about a genetic recessive group of people. So you can't be supreme and genetically recessive, right? And I say that knowing that these people are genetic recessive cousins. So when people say, "I hate white people," you hate your cousin. So let's get that out. No. White nationalism will get you doing that, man, because they've stood on our necks for 500 years. See, people are going, for 400 years we were enslaved. Now you were enslaved, and the Portuguese, the French, the Spaniards, they enslaved us as well. Pope, 1512. They sent somebody around the southern tip of Africa and brought some brothers back, and he enslaved them. And that's how it starts, right? Mm-hmm. So it's been longer than 400 years, but when you are in a society, basically Africana studies, we've talked about Africana studies. Africana studies says, how do people see you? And then they ask the next question, how do you see yourself? People always ask, why do they ask, how do people see you? See, when you understand how people see you, you'll understand how they're going to try to deal with you, and then you ahead of the game. And how do you see yourself? That's what leads you to, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as inferior? Do you see yourself as need to upgrade? And if you need to upgrade, then you open a book. You do research, and you find out. And when you do those things, then and only then should you change. You should elevate your mental. Because what comes out of, look, English is a bastardized language. It's not even a real language. The English that me and you speak, they don't speak it in England. So how are we properly speaking a language that we're speaking wrong? We inherently speak wrong. But white nationalism tells you you're not good enough at every turn. You are a wretch. They read portions of the Bible to you and make you believe certain things. And that's just not true. Anytime you read the Bible, remember I taught you this years ago. When you read somebody get your scripture and they quote a scripture, when you go look it up, you read the one in front of it and the one in back of it. You need the entire context of what's going on in a book. You just can't pull us, love thy enemy. They've been tricking us with that one for the longest, because love thy enemy has nothing to do with somebody slapping hell out you. And then you go, man, brother, I love you, man. Nah, you put your hands on me, I'm kick your drawers in your ass. But the thing is, love thy enemy is, as I kick your drawers in your ass, I ain't gonna stomp you in the face. I ain't gonna try to destroy you. I got love for you. We just having a disagreement at this point. It's love thy adversary. Our adversary is a person in the midst of a conversation, a person who's in the midst of a disagreement. Me and you could disagree right now, and I ain't got to be like, you mother, I kick you. We ain't got to do that. We could just disagree without being disagreeable, and then we move forward. That's love thy enemy. Shaka Zulu and the Zulus, the Ashantis, they would always leave in the midst of a war. They would always leave room for a retreat. You did? So that's giving you, I'm not going to destroy you. We're in the midst of a war, but we still on this continent together. We just invading your land. We're not going to strip you of everything that's you. I got love for you, but we just having a disagreement right now. I think I need your portion of the world. I'm going to incorporate your portion of the world into my portion of the world. And the Ashantis, the largest Northern African tribe in Western Africa, in Ghana, they took over a tapestry tribe, right? And that's how we got it was called Kinta, and now it has morphed into Kente cloth. They have these tapestry people weave something together, so that was their flag and other things, so they can say, we are one, but I'm not going to destroy you. So with that being said, when you know these things, you don't have, see, that's the greatness that's been coming around. We talk about 200,000 years of greatness. And if you only start your history at 16, 19, anything but being in bondage makes you believe it's improvement, but it's not. Malcolm X famously said, a knife in your back, 9 inches. If you pull it out 6 inches, that's not improvement, because it's not. Because you pull it out the whole 9 so I can heal. We haven't healed from the trauma of this country. This is a criminal settler enterprise. I keep telling people, a country has the same moral compass. A country has the same mission. And by and large, most countries speak the same language. I bet you Giannis Antetokounmpo speaks fluent Greek. Kobe Bryant, he was in Italy. He spoke fluent Italian and Spanish. You see what I'm saying? When you in Africa, you will speak French. So that's a common language, and we don't have that here. So why are we switching to adapt to a group that really ain't really rocking with us? So you rock with yourself. They only making one of you, and then you make things happen as BJ, and you do it. I see you. Remember, I take you back to where I think he was like 12, right? We sitting in the front room. We probably had a beef that day too. We had set up, me and you would beef out, and then we start talking to each other a couple hours. Then I wait, and let's go get something to eat. And then we'll go get something to eat. We'll piece it out, right? And I remember I told you, I said, BJ, you know what, man? I look up to you, and you looked at me like I had pulled out a crack pipe. But I do, because I used to get on you for making mistakes in school. What's the thing I said to you about making mistakes in school? Do you remember?
One thing you said to me about making mistakes in school is mistakes gonna happen. Don't repeat them.
Don't repeat them. You used to always repeat them. But one thing about you, you never, as much as I used to be overzealous with the attention I was giving you. I was on your back way too much. I can, we've had this conversation.
Yeah.
One thing that was dope about you, man, it was something that I never had. Like when I was your age, like 14 and maybe I would say 21, and people who know me, they ain't gonna believe that. I was insecure as hell. Unless you talked about something that I knew about, then I was bombastic then, and so people saw the loud, ignorant Brian, like be get with you and be argue to the end, because I was in my lane. But naturally, I was insecure. You had zero insecurities. This is why this code switching thing never adapted to you, because you were comfortable being BJ. Yeah. You didn't have to get accepted. I'm listening.
Yeah, I mean that's me and Peanut that was just talking about this the other day. It was like, man, dude is himself. He ain't afraid to be. I've never have been like I'm BJ. I don't care about you. Like I don't care about what you think, how you feel. I'm gonna be me, and I'm good enough to be me. And that's one of the things I love Big Vince for because he told me that he instilled that into me. Like because I had the insecurities, but I didn't have them for long because he nipped that in the butt quick, and I always thought he was the coolest person on earth. And if he said, "Hey," outside of you maybe, but I always thought he was the coolest man on earth, and I was like, man, if he say I'm the man, I got to be the man.
Yeah, man. I mean, the thing is, man, I remember no matter what happened, I remember, like you never believed I had bad grades. Well, my grades used to be bad as morning breath, Jack. If you looked at my grades, if you looked at my elementary school grades, it's a miracle that I got out. If they didn't give you those tests at the end of the year, I'd still be in elementary school right now. Boy, I was getting, at the end, at that time, they was giving N's and S's. Like that's a F. An S was a D, and an N was an F. I was getting Q's and Z's.
I was about to say, what Rita say? You break at home, Q's and Z's.
Man. But, they give you the test, that standardized test at the end of the year. I passed the test, because I was really paying attention. But I wasn't. This is some foolishness, man. I don't want to pay it. More, and I didn't even realize it, more white America. And then you get indoctrinated into this white America, this white nationalism. And according to Carter G. Woodson, he wrote a book called Miseducation of the Negro, right? And he said this, in 1963. 1963. He said the same education. No. Excuse me. He said this in 1930. He died in 63. He said this in 1930. The same education that empowers the people who owned your ancestors destroys the people who were owned by those same ancestors. And what he was talking about is you get indoctrinated into learning. George Washington was the greatest. Abraham Lincoln was the greatest. Was the boy with the key. Benjamin Franklin was the greatest. And they're not great. Like Thomas Edison is a thief. Thomas Edison stole most of those ideas from Granville Woods because it was illegal for a black man to have a patent. So when you realize
if anybody want to know, hidden colors. If anybody want to get a little extra research into that, 1, 2, and 3, explain each one of them exactly what you just said.
My man D Greatest in the building. So when you know these things, man, you don't switch. You realize, dude, the remote control, GPS is made by a black woman. The home security system, the Ring, that was invented by a black woman in 1982. See, when you know these things, you know you don't have to adapt to anything. Enunciation is not a crime. The standardized American English, speaking that is not a crime. It's not. But when you change to that, that's when the crime comes about. Roberto, like I spoke on this Tuesday, Roberto Duran never spoke English until he retired. As long as he was in the eye of the tiger, he wanted to represent Panama. Big Papi and Manny Ramirez, they looked crazy at the homie Alex Rodriguez because they was like, dude, you done whiten yourself up. You losing the culture. So that's why the whole code switch thing kind of annoys me because we're losing our culture. There's nothing wrong with being us. We are awesome. We're awesome. The video game cartridge, having different video games cartridge, that was invented by a black man. Everything that we're using today was invented by a black man. So why are you ashamed to be who you are? I'm listening.
And like you said, man, just to piggyback on it, you're absolutely right.
I can't hear you.
I said, hold on, you can hear me now?
You good now? Yeah, when you turn to the left, I couldn't hear you.
But you definitely opened up my eyes right now because one thing we are losing is our culture. Like when you code switch, you just switch. It's exactly what you just said. You just switch culture. You just switch to be somebody else that you're not, and it's really blowing my mind right now. Like, man, you're absolutely right. Like,
Yeah.
And more, and that's kind of what's wrong with the generation right now. Like everybody want to be this and that. And it's like, no, be here.
Yeah.
That's one thing the young generation got that we can pat themselves on the back for. Like them young kids are real. Bree and them,
Brea's generation, they don't care. Like I remember Bria called me because her and her mom, you know, we talked about this recently. Your mom was trying to tell Bria how to dress at a job interview. She's like, I'm not wearing that, and got the job. I'm not wearing that. And, you know, like I remember telling you, hey, man, don't get no tattoos. Remember that? Watch this. Don't get no tattoos below your elbow. And look at me. But I did this with the But I did this with the intent to buck the Tigers trend.
Me too.
I was like, nah, I'm gonna do it, and you're gonna accept it, or we not gonna do business. Now, with that being said, when I do the loan signing thing, I do wear long sleeve shirts because I ain't no need in cutting my damn. I'm not gonna cut my nose off to spite my face. I'm not gonna starve to prove a point.
No, you gotta be crazy.
But I still walk in there speaking exactly how I speak right now, and you know, how you doing? You know, but that's how I say that. Man, what's up? How you doing?
Hey, with the tattoo thing, it's so accepted these days. It's ridiculous.
It always, you know, here's the irony. It's always been accepted. It's always. Remember, I was gonna file that lawsuit against the Washington Post when I got terminated, and the dude in HR's name was Jason. He was an Asian cat. Jason had tattoos to his wrists. He was the head of HR. I'm sitting there looking at him like. So it's always been accepted, but we're so busy adapting to things that are natural to us. You force the language on me. You force behavior on me. 1771, the Meritorious Manumission forced me to snitch on people. Like if I wanted any form of emancipation, I had to either make life easy for a white person. I had to make life easy for a white person, save a white person's life, or snitch on the slavery folk. You've embedded in me. Don't trust nobody. So, you know, some of the largest revolts of the enslaved Africans were ended because other Africans told on them because they were trying to get the hell off the plantation too. So again, 1771, Meritorious Manumission. Look it up if you don't have to believe me, man.
No,
I'm speaking in general. So
yeah, that's exactly where it started then. Because every time you look up, you hear somebody go, "Oh man, he'll do it to me." It's like,
and that's why this code switching thing is non-beneficial. It's okay. I mean, again, I'm gonna say it to the end of the show. It's okay to speak traditional American English, but it's also to speak the language of our community as well. Because guess what? At one point, for those people that sit around and say, "Well, you're not gonna be able to function," yes, you could. Because if you get 1/2 or 1% of the population to support what you're doing, 1/2 or 1%. 1/2 or 1% of the American populace, 400,000 people. Just imagine if I had 400,000 people tuned in tonight, how much money would I get? 400,000 people every other Wednesday, 400,000 people every other Tuesday, and 400,000 people every other Friday. I have more money than I know what to do with. But see, we're so busy. That's why we won't own corner stores anymore, because that ain't good enough. But everybody else come in our community and open those stores, and you wonder why they don't do it. But because they've accepted the way they are. Hey, I don't need to be accepted by the system. You know, at the end of the day, what's the system? Finance. We live in a capitalistic society. If you bring in capital, you dominate. Like the movie Wall Street, he who dies with the most toys wins. Toys is cake, Skrilla, chicken, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was obvious.
Right. Hey, man. Elon Musk. That's the dude everybody's trying to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
Watch this. Everybody want to be Elon Musk. You know he scores very low on the autism scale. He has autism. Who's signing up to be autistic?
Right.
See, we keep chasing this thing, and the thing is chasing you.
Right.
If you stop, see, we're so far ahead of the culture here in America, even though we've had our culture stripped, we've had our religion stripped, we had our language stripped, we had our diet stripped, We had our homeland stripped. We had all these things stripped, and we're still so far ahead of the culture that we're looking at people's backs, right? We see people in front of us. We don't really realize that we've actually lapped them.
That makes sense.
I'm looking at your butt going, oh, I got to catch him. But if you catch him, you're going to loop him again. If we stop running, the race would stop. And that's what this code switching, it doesn't allow you to identify with that. And people will hear me say these things and they'll say, hey, man, Rap, you can't be saying that you hate white people. Man, knock it off. If you think I hate white people,
you better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you.
I ain't got nothing to say to you. Because if you jump up in my face talking
Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
That's all I got to say. But seriously, man, it's okay. The moral of the story, it's okay to be you.
Mm-hmm.
I only made one BJ.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's why you're J and not B. I'm B, you're J.
Yeah,
and then eventually you add a tray.
Oh, it's gonna be a junior.
Most definitely, my junior. Junior. You don't want to be. No, I ain't gonna say that. You know who? Yeah. But seriously, man, I got Sister Arlene in the building. Good to see you. Yeah, man. So the code switching thing, it's okay if that's what you want to do. If you want to fit in, you could be the spook that sat outside the door. But here's the irony, man. Uncle Craig, you've talked to Craig. Craig worked for the Federal Bureau of Investigations.
The feds, people.
The Central Intelligence Agency. The DIA. He has pictures with multiple presidents. He's been in the Situation Room. Does Craig code switch? No, he doesn't.
Man, I wish I would have code switched and listened to the fool. Listen to that fool.
Right. You listen to him, you would never say, oh man, he's the FBI.
Man, listen, Craig told me, hey man, just go get your bachelor's. I'll get you a job. I'll be the FBI right now. I'll be Stan Smith, American Dad.
No, they wouldn't let you in.
That definitely would.
They saw you calling them, boy. You used to get the damn, they letting you in. But yeah, seriously, man. But Craig is proof positive. And here's the irony. Last time I went out to Arizona, we kicking it, right?
Uh-huh.
All the CIA buddies, they black. We chilling. We went to a football. We went to a Arizona State football game. We PLP in parking lot pimping, and we out there chilling. And I see them whispering to Craig, and I'm like, and Craig, Craig, who? Go ask him. And what agency you in? I'm like, agency. Damn, Fed, post criminal, but. Hey, I don't know what you're talking about. But yeah. But seriously, they thought I was one of them. So it's not about how you sound and not how you it's about standing firm on who you are. And if you feel that way, what are you gonna do when you start to lose who you are? And that's the next question. It's the next question. When you code switch, do you lose who you are, or is that just something you're doing?
I think you lose who you are, 100%. After this conversation, after the explanation you've been giving me, you definitely you may not see it as a big percentage of yourself, but each time you do it, it dwindles down. Like it's like a candle. Yeah, it ain't gonna burn all the way to the bottom the first time you light it, but you keep setting this candle on fire. Eventually, no more candle. Now you just an empty cup
with smut on the bottom.
Right.
But yeah, and I do believe you lose a small percentage of yourself. Some of the most successful people we know, they sound like them at all times.
All the time.
Brother Jeremiah, Baba Jeremiah Wright, Dr. Greg Carr, Karen Hunter, they are who they are. Now, when it comes to writing, you should write the king's English to the queen's taste. But being yourself, and I'm not telling you to be talking like mush mouth from Fat Albert. I'm not doing that. I'm not saying that. But you still have to be genuine and authentic in everything you do. That's the moral of the story. That is the true moral of the story. Be genuine Be authentic in everything you do because hey, God made one BJ. He made one dope ass Brian, cool as hell. Everybody on my fault.
And you know what? I am after having this conversation, I'm so happy I never did have to code switch because code switching can always be a bad thing too. Because man, it's a lot of people that code switched to something else and then landed themselves in a lot of trouble. You knew you was a square. But, now you missed the Billy.
Yeah, and that's code switching as well.
That's the
You are a straight.
You said what now?
Hey Keisha.
But yeah,
in the building.
right, Keisha.
It's a lot of people that code switch the other way.
Yeah, it is, and I'm glad I didn't switch that way because I knew it wasn't. I knew I wasn't built for it. Are y'all going to jail forever? You know, it's a long time when they take the 4 off of it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and you know what? We know people who've been in the belly of the beast. And I remember 2001, God rest his soul, Vincent came home, right? I said, what was it like? Right, it was just like the crib. There weren't no women in there, but it was just like everybody else. He said it was comic book dudes in there. He was like, it was gangbangers in there. There was dudes who loved movies in there. It was rappers in there. It was artists in there. There's a little bit of everybody in there, man. So it wasn't nothing. He said, he was like, I already know what you're thinking. What about the rape? I said, yeah, you know I had to ask about the rape. He said, man, you know our dudes get raped? Because they in there knowing they comic book nerds trying to hang out with the gangbangers. And then they punk you, and then they punk you. And so I know guys who they getting out the day after Jesus get back because they tried to adapt to that street life.
Yeah.
So yeah, that code switching is it's an ugly animal, man.
Yeah, that's the part of we didn't talk about today. Like, man, there's a lot of people that code switch the other way, and it's like, man, there's so many people I grew up with off Cedric. I ain't even gonna say like high school too, and it's like my man Frankie always say, bro, Frankie crazy man. He said he looked at this one dude who went to jail. He said, bro, we went to prep school, and you graduated. He said everybody that was a gangster left freshman year, maybe sophomore. You graduated with me with the same grades.
Right.
When did you have time to get back?
Well, let's not do that though, because you joking. But hey, man, Willie Moe, folk on hustle extraordinaire, high-ranking folk on hustle at one point in his life. Willie Moe used to be he had like a 3.8 GPA. Corey did the tattoo, high grades.
No, I mean I'm not saying because ironically, most people that I know that were super street niggas was the smartest people on earth. Vince, he wasn't no fool.
Yeah,
by a long shot.
But then again,
any person on earth.
And that's the thing. But Vince was Vince. Vince never tried to be gangster. It just happened to be at times he was a gangster.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't trying to be anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like I remember I remember being people trying to force me to be gangster. Like the day your mother graduated from high school, Toke got into it with the Stones. Toke was a vice lord.
Mm-hmm.
Those cats from the buildings came to the block. There's about 300 of those dudes. Beat the hell out of them like 50 Blackstone. So, old boy used to walk the block. The chief of the Stones, he was walking the block. He tell Kiel, he pointed at me. He tell me, you a Stone, be at the next meeting. I was like, what? I was like, nah, bro. If anything, I'm a vice lord. Y'all lost. So they got mad at me, right? And I'm like, whatever. And me and Arlene used to work at Jewel right there on Division.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm like, dude, I'm not in no fucking gang. I'm not doing this gang shit. I'm in a gang, Williams gang. So I go to work like I normally do. And one of the Stones worked with me. I ain't going to say his name. He might be watching. Yo, Brian, the brother's mad at you because you laughed. they want you to be, man, they might do something to your mother. I said, what? I know. He said, they might do something to your mother. Arlene can confirm this story. Arlene was standing next to me. And he was like, man, they might try to do something to your mother or something. I said, let me tell you something, bro. If a random white man is robbing my mama right now and her purse gets snatched, I'm killing your motherfucking ass. And he looked at me and I looked at him and I went right back to work. And then like half hour later, he said, man, I was just playing, Brian. I was like, I ain't. You better hope my mama don't slip on ice. It's July. You better hope she don't slip. I'm going to kill you. So it ain't about being gangster. But, you know, I ain't code switch. Man, anybody who ever known me know I ain't never cocked my hat to the left, cocked my hat to the right. Like, my man Tran, a couple years ago, he was on my show. And after the show, we was rapping. He was like, you know what, B, man? What I always respected about you, we was smoking weed, everything, man. You never hit the weed. I'm like, y'all didn't have no mama to whoop y'all ass when y'all came in. Motherfucking mama was a bloodhound. I couldn't come in the house like that. It wasn't that I was tough. I was just scared to get caught.
I was scared to get caught.
Right, I was scared to get caught. I wasn't tough. I went, oh, man, I got this intestinal fortitude. I'll never use marijuana. I was like, shit. See, Arlene just said facts. Yeah, Arlene just said facts. She was standing there. I ain't tough. But I ain't never tried to be no gangbang. I ain't want no GD. I had a ton of homies that are Breeze, ton of homies that were GDs, ton of homies that are Vice Lords, ton of homies that are Stones. I ain't never had to be that. I was Brian.
Me, I had Alfredo Breed.
That's your cousin.
Yeah. Hey man, these Breeze tripping.
Yeah, that's Arlene right there. He thought you was gonna fall for the BS. And you want to know part? I'm telling you, this is a real thing, man. I ain't tough. Hey, but hey, if you threaten my mom, I'm going, y'all got to go kill me, man. Because I'm killing, man. Hey, man, I ain't never been tough. I ain't never want to be tough, man. I want to be a ball player. I want to make the NFL. I want to be the first dude to go from high school to the pros to the NFL. That was my dream. Oh man, man, get that shit out of here, man.
I guess that's where I get that from, because I ain't never want to be tough either. I don't even like to fight. I don't even like to see fights, personally.
Right. I used to tell you, BJ, fight go the other way, man. Because in Chicago, when a fight kick off, some bullets usually follow it.
I remember you told me about fight. This a side note. He said the only people that like to watch fights is people who can't fight. And I was like, what you mean? He said they amazed by it because it's something they can't do.
They can't do it.
And I said,
wow.
Oh my God.
Man, I'm out of here. I don't see that shit.
Good, bro. Hey, I ain't for that.
Yeah, and that's the whole thing, man. When you're confident on who you are, like I had insecurities about certain things, but I was never insecure about being Brian. I've been B. And I ain't never, and that's as insecure as I was at one point in my life, B, I was insecure about girls. You know what I mean? I couldn't talk to girls. I was nervous talking to girls. But
that's what it was with me too. It was like chicks. I was always me. I was the life of the party as a kid.
Right. Yeah. Until you start losing them DJ battles. I don't want to bring that up though. You challenged me. I had to take you out.
And none of my friends ever beat me. So
yeah, you was beating them. I'm still undefeated, and you ain't won none of those races either.
I never raced you because I never thought I was never fast. That's a little fence you gotta holler at.
Love Vincent. You was standing out there. I smoked them punks.
Yeah, stood out there. I didn't go, I'm gonna jump in this race. I was never the quick dude. I'm like, nah, I got coward speed. I have to be very afraid for this even to work.
That's speed to have. I ain't never seen a coward get caught.
Let a dog loose and then let us. That's a different ball game.
Man. But that's the thing, man. This code switcher thing. If that's what you think you have to do, I would ask you to question that, because being you is good enough. But some people, you have to grow into that. Just like both of us, we had to grow in the ability to communicate with the opposite sex. I remember the day that, you had talked to Uncle Vince, and then you were still a little shaky. We went into Walgreens. I said, BJ, you just got to say it with confidence. And remember, I said, we walked up to the counter. I said, you want me to get a phone number? We were standing, we was like two people. You want me to get a phone number? You was like, yeah. And you just doubted me. I said, hey, am I cute? And the lady was like, yeah, your dad's cute. I said, why you ain't give me your phone number then? And she wrote her phone number. Now we walked out, I threw it in the garbage. If you believe it, everybody else gonna believe it. And that's why code switching is.
And that's exactly what Vince said. He said,
yeah,
if you don't believe it, how's she supposed to believe it?
Hey man, you only as sexy as you think you are. That's why that girl Wizzo got her ass out all the time.
Yeah. Because
don't nobody think that shit's sexy. She don't even.
Yeah.
She need to be walking around with a fucking car around her. No, never mind. Let's go back to the code switch.
But yeah, like what's that old Jerry Seinfeld joke? Jerry, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Yeah, it's not a lie if you believe it.
Hey, believe in it.
Yeah, man. If you believe it, it's not a lie. You're only as sexy as you are. Hey man, if you think you sexy as hell.
Hey, yeah.
Some of this, hey, but you ain't got to be Beyonce sexy.
Yeah.
Boot out. Because if you see my big ass in a muscle shirt, boy, throw a bucket of hot piss on me so I'll take it off. I'm telling you, Jack. No, it's not popping. Even when I was cut to the finest, I wasn't running around. Look at my muscles. No.
Talk to your nephew then, man. Talk to your nephew then, because I'm tired of him calling me tomorrow. Hey, look, man. He called me this close on FaceTime, and then put his phone down and go, hey, no, for real. Am I getting swole? I say the connection.
Oh, Peanut?
Yeah.
Yeah, hey, tell him, punch him in his face and say, you swole now.
I hate that. He be like, no, what you like? I think I did that yesterday too. Hey man, what you hang up for? I ain't trying to hear shirt on. Talk to me with a shirt on. I'd be that crazy.
Well, what's your final thoughts on this so we can shut it down?
My final thoughts, I mean, I thought it was a good thing at first. Well, I didn't think it was a good thing. I thought it was acceptable. At the state I am right now, it's like, nah. Be who you want to be, not who you want to be who you are. Because like you said, everybody else is being taken. It's only one BJ. What'd you look like that for?
No, I was reading the text.
And man, please keep sending prayers out to them people in Texas and West Lake. Because man, I hope to never know what it feels like to lose a child. But man, that's just crazy. I've literally been thinking about that all day. One of my guys was talking to me. He was like, man, well, what about the other kids? I said, man, we ain't talking about the other kids right now. They still just as important, but you ain't never heard of 16 kids, kindergartners being shot.
Well, it was a place in Connecticut a few years ago. Sandy Hook.
But man, God rest their souls too. But man, that's just still crazy.
Yeah, man. You're right. Losing a child might be the worst thing in the world. Because like when grandma died,
that was one thing.
It was sad, but you know what? Grandma was supposed to die before me.
Yeah, and then you just come to grips with it, like
she's supposed to go first.
She's supposed to go first. She didn't take care of her body the way she's supposed to.
With the smoking.
And then
you just process it. It don't make it no less. It don't make it no less.
More or less hurt, but it's like you walk yourself through it. But sending your kid to school,
right,
and saying, "All right, I'll be back at 2:30. Have a nice day." And 12 o'clock, you getting a phone call. They didn't shout out the baby school. Like, process that.
Yeah, you can't process. That's
it's
unreal, man.
Yeah, I literally have been thinking about that all day.
Like in the neighborhood, the old neighborhood where Vito and them used to live. We used to live down the street, 1209. Across the street from 1209 is this project called Jane Addams.
Mm-hmm.
There's these cats over there called the Paymasters. Those jokers were killing more people than AIDS. For real. But do you know what the PK Masters used to do? Hey, come get your babies. We finna send the deck up.
Yeah, I've actually, and you know what? I was telling my manager about that earlier this week. I was like, it happened yesterday, so I told him yesterday. Then my manager was talking, and I told him, I'm like, man, I honestly remember that. Like when we lived in the complex was the big rectangle, and you could either be in or out it. And the whole neighborhood was out there, so you could really just do whatever you want. But you was always somebody had some eyes on you, and somebody literally said, "Hey, y'all go in the building." What you mean? I ain't going, man. Go in the building. Then we got inside the building, and somebody was like, "Hey, man, y'all just go in the house for a little while." It was like, "All right, man, whatever, man. Y'all these grown people tripping again." Oh.
Arlene asked where the Jane Adams is. Roosevelt and from Roosevelt and Racine to Taylor and Racine to almost Loomis and Taylor.
Right around what
down street from Old Jewtown.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's 12 doors that buy in. It's 12 doors or 10 doors.
10 doors, right there.
10 doors, yeah. It's right over there, Lane. Yeah, so yeah, man, we're gonna pray for those people, man, and we hopefully this gun violence thing stops.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey man, it's like nappy head. It's just got to keep going and get better eventually.
Yeah, man.
It's sad but true. But yeah. With that being said, man, what I'm walking away from this is I want people to understand. Just be themselves. Ain't nothing wrong with being you. Be your authentic self.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's not good enough, you won't get it anyway. Because when you switch to adapt, that person, those people that you're adapting to, identify that, and they look at you as less than anyway. So be yourself. And if yourself is to speak the King's English to the Queen's taste, then you do that too. And there's nothing wrong with that either. There's nothing wrong with being Michael Eric Dyson, nothing wrong with speaking like Barack Obama. But there ain't nothing wrong with being Al Sharpton either. You know, Jesse Jackson ain't been in Mississippi in 60, 70 years. And oh yeah. Thank you, Arlene. Yes. There ain't nothing wrong with that. Just be you and be the best you can be. It was only one you made. Thank God they ain't make two B's. But
it should have been two B's. James.
Yeah, because then one of them would have gave me a grandson by now. Lousy Negro. I said that out loud. That was my inner monologue. But
that was that code switch, huh?
Yeah, I switched to grandfather.
That was HB. Tripping again.
Yeah, right. I got my man DJ Mad Knox the Show Killer in the building. Yeah, man, it's just the whole thing is just be you. And if you are authentically you, nobody can ever take that away from you. And you already know how I feel. Everybody else knows how I feel. And y'all already know what's about to happen. And I'm going to say salute to the people who inspire me and my son and other people like us who are like-minded, people who are doing what they have to do to make sure the community is better. We're talking about the Ghetto Boys, Tariq Rashid, Nori, Talib Kweli, Ray Grady, Zoe Williams, Corey Holcomb, Craig Smith, Al Sharpton, Super Dope Sister Heather B, Super Dope Brother Clay Kane, my favorite, Larry Daniel Favors, Dr. Baba Greg Carr. Look him up, people. If you find Dr. Greg Carr, you're going to learn something. You get a whole head full of things messing with Greg Carr. And the human machine, she's doing everything she can do to make our community strong and powerful. Her life mission is make us healthy, wealthy, and wise. Her name is Karen Hunter, professor at Hunter College, host on Sirius Satellite Radio, and the dean of this whole thing, Joe Madison. Joe Madison some love. It's always good to I have to salute those people because they give me inspiration. We give you guys inspiration, and y'all already know it's time to give y'all two things. It's time to give y'all one word, and it's time to say salute to Reggie O'Shea, aka Combat Jack, by saying dream those dreams and man up and woman up and live those dreams, because life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor surround sound. I want y'all to understand one thing. You know what? I got a big show coming Friday She is an advocate for human trafficking. She is a voice to the White House. She is an advisor to the White House. Her name is Brenda Myers Powell. She's an advisor to the White House. She will be on right here with me Friday, 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. And always remember, dream those dreams and man up, woman up, live those dreams. Life without dreams flows in black and white. Life with dreams flows in technicolor, surround sound. And these days, after seeing mass shootings, 4 schools get shut down in Texas today. A person found with a gun in Chicago at Walt Disney Magnet School, a Montessori school. You had a young person bring a gun to school, drop the gun, hit the ground, gun went off, shot a young person. We got 4 schools shut down in Texas. We got a school shot up in Texas. We got a grocery store shot up. We at this point, everybody in the world, I need y'all to do this. Download the 5 Calls app. And complain to your state senator. Complain to your state. If we can get 1 million calls, and they'll be forced to do something. 1 million people call all these senators, U.S. senators. 5 Calls app. No matter where you are in America, the 5 Calls app will get you in contact with Rafael Cruz. Will get you in contact with Tammy Duckworth, Dick Durbin here in Illinois, or wherever you living at. 5 Calls app. And I've already told you, dream those dreams, and man, woman, I've lived those dreams. And this is the final thing I want to say. We are all in search for peace. P-E-A-C-E. We don't want anybody taken away from our peace. If you allow somebody to take away from your peace, you have officially lost your GD mind. That's your mama. The last person that said, hey, BJ, that's your mama. That's your mama. Look, she only support when you on. What a lousy person she is. What a lousy person she is. Lousy. You lousy BJ, she lousy BJ mom. What was I saying, man? Before I got on that bullshit. Oh yeah, man. You are we removing toxic behavior from your mental, removing toxic behavior from your spirit. So this is what you always have to realize, and please follow these instructions. When it comes to being around friends, family, neighbors, ladies, gentlemen, haters, and bitter friends, you can always be present, but you don't have to be available. You can always be present, but you don't have to be available. With that said, I'm HRap B. If you don't like what we was talking about,
Sit your ass down. Sit your ass down.
And next week we're gonna be getting it in. So if you got something smart to say,
You better shut your white mouth. I'm not kidding you.
and we are. I want to throw.
Feeling myself, but I stay in my lane. I know you thinking you nice, but you sounding the same. He need to switch up his flow, but I know that he ain't. Shit, maybe he want to and probably can't. He talk a lot, but ain't saying a word. He's 16, sounding like he be lacing his herb. Reggie Rock told me time to just focus and spit. Quit worrying about the niggas abandoning shit. We lust for that cheese, we lose sleep, dreams of that cream. We killing our teens, they down for this American dream. Them government schemes, they turning us to hustlers and fiends. We hustling trees, them politicians smuggling green. Chasing that cheese, got everybody stressed in the streets. Pardon me for speaking freely, let it breathe. Evangelists preach to congregations out of their seats. They writing them checks for tithes, now his people can't eat. She stripping for change for school, now she giving them brain. She used to that loot, she earning, now she giving them strain. He new to this game, but hungry, so he cooking his cane. He getting that paper, but then they gave him 2 to the brain. It's rules to this game, but hustlers never hustle for fame. The spirit of greed is grimy, so we struggle to change. They put us in chains to take away our African names. But if we submissive and don't resist, then who do we blame? It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders slain. They gave us Obama, but that nigga was hoping for change. But Zimmerman is killing niggas and he free. Shit is crazy, babies having these babies and getting checked. But keep the child from they pop to rip his heart out his chest. Our rappers was leaders and now they in the booth in the dress. Spitting bullshit and making more but giving us less. They taking our sound and changing ours, dumbing it down. They taking our jobs and homes and they shutting us out. They taking our kids because it ain't a man in the house. They locking us down, but soon they gon' be wiping us out. They told our women they was too independent to need a man. They told our brother he was too insignificant to advance. It's all a game, man. These Europeans staking they claim. And you a victim of their game plan. You thinking they ain't, you thinking they saints. Remember all them niggas they hang? Killed our women and our children, all our leaders is slain. It's all a game.